All right, looks like we're ready to hop into the first game here of Sziky versus Mihu.
Alrighty, spawning top right side of Eclipse. As the red Zerg, we have StarCast Sziky.
And in the bottom left, his opponent here on Eclipse, we have Mihu. Mihu.
Good old Mihu, man. Well, Ozzy, what do you think of Eclipse for Zerg vs Terran?
I personally have always preferred two-player maps against Zerg. It's just you're guaranteed to get that early scout, and it feels like when you can optimize your response to what Zerg is doing early, it just feels like I'm always favored as a Terran player, right? If I see like 12 hatch, I can go 15 CC, or if I see like an early pull, I can react accordingly, and you just never have to worry about getting the wrong opening against the Zerg if you don't scout them first.
Sure. Yeah, I agree, man. I think if I was a Terran player, I would definitely pick it more often in longer sets like this. So to get it game one, Mihu's got to be feeling pretty good here. I'm a Zerg that struggles on this map, Zerg versus Terran, because the age-old problem of securing a third into a fourth, right?
Yeah.
This is not a map that really lends into a very easy fourth base secure, which is can kind of stifle your build order.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It kind of almost forces you into the Hydra Lurker play, right? Which a lot of Zergs don't like doing if they don't have to. And I personally, as a Terran player, love playing against Hydra Lurker. It's way more comfortable for me. So that's another reason, like you said, that's a good point, that getting a fourth gas on this map, very, very difficult for Zerg, and it just forces a game state that I like as Terran. But that being said, we got a little bit of kind of a strange proxy location for this barracks here for Mihu.
Yeah,
this is just a 2-rack.
It's just a 2-rack. This is a cute play, though. I can't say I've seen this recently. But yeah, if this goes unscouted...
Might get scouted, though. Look at the trajectory of this Overlord.
No way. There's no way Sziky actually planned that. That's so funny if that's the case. He's definitely going to see it.
Wow. I think this was I'm avoiding the Marines Overlord pathing, right? To get to the choke. And he just happened to spot this barrack. So really lucky start here for Sziky. And he's going to be able to respond to this and react. And this is going to be pretty bad for Mihu, because without finding any damage here, and he's not even going to know that he's been spotted, right? He doesn't see that Overlord. He doesn't know that Sziky knows. And Sziky can just respond exactly how he needs to and should come out with a very big lead here in this game.
Absolutely. He's getting Zergling speed first, which is, kind of funny here. Obviously, he knows he's up against the 2-racks, but Mihu, he's got to realize that it's been sniffed out somehow. In fact, he's halting Marine production at the natural. Scouting SCV gets killed, and there's 4 Zerglings out on the map here, likely looking to flank down towards that proxy barracks location.
Yeah, well, I think he knows they got spotted because he saw the sunken, but the other big thing is the late lair, right? We went for this late lair. And what do you think about Sziky going speed before lair, actually? I kind of would have liked him to just make the sunkens and make the lair on time, personally.
Same. I was literally thinking the exact same thing. Yeah, especially with the sunken, it felt a little unnecessary. But I mean, it's Sziky, man. He's got a reason, I'm sure. But yeah, I think the faster layer would have just been more and more pressure here with this floating barracks. Either way, speed gonna come in handy here very quickly. I felt like he could have kept going there. Still great trading here from Sziky. Absolutely has map control at this point. But the academy is coming up here for Mihu.
Yeah, that felt a little bit indecisive from Sziky there. I would like for him to have kind of committed to blocking those Marines a little bit faster, right? Because I actually think that could have been almost game ending. But that being said, maybe Sziky... I don't want to question Sziky too much, but as the observer looking at this, it feels like he could have got a lot more done. But he's just going to try and, not risk anything, not throw anything away. He feels like he's had a good opening, so he doesn't want to take too many risks and just try to play normal from here.
I get it, right? Like, this is the BSL Non-Korean Championship. Like, why take a big risk when you've already guaranteed yourself, like, a good position? Sure, he probably could have kept going with it, and I kind of had the same initial reaction, but, Sziky says, this position's fine. I'll sit here, and we'll continue playing this out.
Yeah, and that's not a bad approach to it either, right? When you know you're in a good position, not to just kind of overplay your hand and potentially throw it away. Because if he does lose all those lanes, then he's gonna have to make some sort of rebuffer for the sunken, right? And you don't really want to be doing that if you don't have to, especially when you've had such a good opening for yourself.
Right. There's no bunker here from Mihu. You know, he's got that second barracks landed finally, has the first medics out. He doesn't know about this third base yet from Sziky, but Sziky, you can tell he's feeling pretty confident given scouting that, you know, proxy second barracks early on here.
Yeah, it's kind of funny. Sziky was making a second sunken, and it got scouted, and he responded by canceling the sunken. That almost seems like backwards to me, right? Where it's like, you know what? I don't need this sunken now that you've seen it.
Yeah.
But Ling's gonna get in here. This is always so annoying for Terran, by the way, because this can really mess with your turret timing.
Oh, for sure. You already know it's going to. And he's got a second group at the natural of 4. They tear down turrets so fast here. I mean, he is absolutely giving himself a window with the first Mutalisks on the map here now.
Yeah, really good damage here. And we actually have these Lings that were kind of forgotten about. Okay, yeah, Mihu gonna come back for them. He didn't forget about them, but gonna tug down in here and actually even kill an SCV, which is more than you could have hoped for with 2 Lings left over that were low HP. Muta's gonna come in here, and this turret not done yet because of those Lings, so Muta's gonna be a little bit more free to kind of play with their food here and get some damage done.
For sure. Gonna get another Marine kill. Another SCV goes down. I mean, this is just the beginning, too. Sziky really put himself in a very strong position here early on.
We're going for the
hydrogen.
Yeah. So might be going for some sort of lurker here because there's no Queen's Nest or anything started just yet, and it would be kind of early, I feel like, to be going for that. So it might just be that Hydra lurker relatively early. Because Mita's going to poke in here, not get any damage done, but just kind of see the turret. And I guess just be happy with what information he's got so far. And yeah, I wanted to say that SCV on the natural when he went to build that turret, those are my SCVs every single time, by the way. He goes to start that turret and it jumped all the way to the far right to be like, by the way, you can kill me if you want.
Yeah, I was leaning so far to the right. That was so funny. Yeah. That doesn't always go your way, I guess.
Yeah, some of that RNG. Oh, forcing a stem too is nice. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, that's nice. I was gonna say this is 11 Muta. This is gonna be very scary now for Mihu to move out. But yeah, looks like Mihu's gonna stem. Starts moving across the map. Sziky immediately picking off a medic. Very well done there.
Yeah, and we've already done like 2 or 3 stems with this army, so this medic energy is going to be getting depleted pretty quickly. Another stem comes down even for Mihu, being very aggressively stemming. 2 medics already out of energy, so this bio ball it's not as scary as it looks right now. We're basically 1 stem away from having no healing left in this army.
Right. Oh, and Sziky, I mean, really just staying on top of it. Yet again, another full stem there for Mihu, and Sziky just recognizing the opportunity here. I like how patient Sziky is. It's so easy to just say, oh yeah, this is looking great, let's keep like pouncing on this and move right away. Whereas like you could actually, you know, the more efficient way to deal with it is exactly what he's doing. Get close, force a stem, back up, you know, then go. And I mean,
yeah, like these stems are damage. Yeah. I mean, think about it. Like every stem, these mutas did like what, like 80 to 90 damage here, right, or 100 damage. So yeah, just forcing the stems and backing up is long-term damage. Mihu being very kind of he's stemming very freely, right?
Yeah, he really is.
This army looking pretty squishy, looking pretty small. We've reinforced a few more Muta. Looks like he's going to try and get back home and regroup now. He knows this army is pretty much forfeit. Yeah, we see from all these stems just kind of how low HP they are, but we do manage to pick off a few Muta regardless of that, actually, with the flanking Marines.
Yeah, very well done there from Mihu. Like you were saying, I didn't really expect him to get much done, but I mean, he's whittled away this control group of mutas a little bit. Still though, Sziky not missing a step. We're seeing the Hydra Lurker go up at the natural, at the third base. He seems pretty well protected. Getting a little damage done in the main here, as well as Sziky. But wisely just backing out, expecting the move out here again from Mihu.
Yeah, with the lurkers out, he should be safe at least. His drone count is a little bit light at the moment at the third base, kind of makes me a little bit uncomfortable for his kind of long-term right now. Mihu's supply is still going up, despite the opening feeling like it's been going really, really well for Sziky. Mihu's done a great job of just kind of macroing behind and recovering from that opener. We've got a lot of turrets up, so he's not feeling very uncomfortable. He's actually going for potentially a little bit of a tank push here, but I mean, he identified very early this was the Hydra Lurker, so it always feels good to know that at a time so you can start your tank production very early.
This is actually also a greater Spire out of Sziky here. So
oh, was it? Oh, wow.
Do some Guardians. I see him do this play pretty often versus Terran. It is very heavy committal to you know, admit here, but it will stop tank pushes very well. Problem is, you know, again, like 4th gas. What base are you even gonna start looking at eventually if you're Sziky here to try to hold that? And until he gets a 4th gas up, the gas supply is going to be very limited. Spending it on things like Guardians is it's risky. Oh! Gets the Science Vessel. Very nice pickup here for Sziky. But yeah, he's going to be forced to retreat here behind these Sunkens. This is such a fast
Guardians
timing.
now.
Yeah,
it's very early.
It's very early. Oh, Consume just about to complete, though, in the nick of time.
Just in time. So, yeah, to keep him alive here. So that's perfect for Sziky. We're going to see that Consume come down. We're going to see those Swarms come down. Need to... I'm actually surprised we threw it there. We need to get these Lurkers kind of up to the front. This hatchery going to be under fire. And now the Marines even going to move up the front. Guardians do finish at least to try and keep him alive here. And I think this will prevent him from taking much more damage, but that hatchery is going to go down. Yeah. This is
the
bad.
hatchery going down was a big deal. It seemed like he just needed Swarm slightly faster to be able to fend this off. But now the Bio's inside the main, able to do some damage to the mineral line here of Sziky. And yeah, the Lurker's just not in position to be able to defend this natural properly.
I guess Sziky's just dead. I really thought he was going to be fine when I saw the Consume about to finish, but Mihu executing this push pretty perfectly. Like you said, the Lurker's maybe a little bit out of position, being behind the hatchery, wasn't able to do much. And Sziky gonna GG, and Mihu gonna take game 1 despite an opening that I felt could have gone very, very well for Sziky.
Yeah, so much went right for Sziky there early on, right? He scouted the proxy 2nd barracks, forced the lift and retreat, you know, picked off a handful of Marines early on, had map control, delayed the turrets, you know, you check. Everything looked like it was going so smooth. Fast 3rd, had his tech, had Consume, just a little bit of positioning, and that's all she wrote for Sziky there. Mihu took a pretty strong win there, game 1.
Yeah, it's like that at these like higher levels, right? You just make 1 or 2 kind of, I don't want to say small mistakes, but you make a couple mistakes and the game can just end, right? Because these guys are killers. You show a little bit of weakness and they'll pounce on it and they can close the game out just like that.
For sure, yeah, they'll just run with it. So, yeah, well done there from Mihu. But Sziky, you know, was looking very strong right up until the end there. Clearly not out of this just yet. And as we kind of said, you know, that was Eclipse, right? 2-player map. Now at least Sziky should get map choice versus Mihu, and that could give him some comfort for sure.
Yeah. All right, looks like we are ready to jump into game 2 here of Sziky versus Mihu.
Okay, and spawning bottom right side of Polestar as the Terran from China, it is Mihu.
Spawning in the top left, his opponent across the map here, we have Sziky.
So it is cross map scenario, big map, Polestar. I mean, things should be good for, I guess, Zerg early on, right? You always want to have your base be furthest away from your opponent as possible, but you know, should Sziky go for one of the corner locations on this map for a 3rd, things can get a little tricky. Yeah, but Mihu
Yeah.
actually going to put his first supply depot at the natural to wall off.
Yeah, this is something I really should start doing. I don't wall, and I know it's just objectively better to wall. uh,
It's great. Yeah.
yeah, it's just that you're so much safer against like any lings, right? You can be cutting marines and still be safe against lings. So it's really something I should do because by not walling, you're almost forcing yourself to mass marine, and you still also got to be careful of the ling flood regardless of that. So yeah, it's just a good build positioning SimCity for kind of getting your tech up a lot safer and cutting some marines.
For sure. It's safer until the Zerg 4 pools. If you can
Exactly. Well, that's why I
if you
don't do it,
know,
right?
yeah, right, right. If you know a Terran goes like wall off every game, you can just mix in like the occasional 4 pool and it just always wins. It's really funny.
Yeah. And on the counter, I mean, that's exactly it for me, right? When I see like 4, 5, 6 pull, and because I go barracks in my main, it's like an auto win for me because I do that. So I take my free wins and I take my suffering for doing it in other games. So
Yep,
there's a little
yep.
bit of a trade-off.
Well, looks like Sziky hacks actually and just sent his first drone straight across the map to get first scout off. Nice for him. No,
Yeah,
this
that's
is yeah, calculated for sure.
yeah, it's actually pretty nice for Sziky. And because of that too, it's well, I was gonna say it would make Mihu think that he was top right, but I guess or not, or bottom left, sorry. But he goes for the top left scout anyway, so not being fooled by this crawl scout spawn.
Yeah, no, not at all. Mihu's all over it. Bunker going down here. I'm shocked by this. This is going to definitely force a drone pull from Sziky, unless he thinks it's a fake, which he might. Only 2 drones here. And yeah, second SCV is here. First 2 Marines are kind of rallied up. It's only 4 Zerglings so far here.
I'm
Sziky.
surprised Mihu went for this because he saw Sziky scout him, so Sziky knows that this can't have been an actual ARAX, right? But
Right.
Mihu, he started a CC at like 650 minerals, by the way. The CC is way later than it needed to be.
Yeah, yeah, it looks like it. Maybe he just forced a little more into the marine production. I'm not sure. Either way, picking off 1 Zergling so far. We still have the bunker at the natural. That is a threat if it doesn't get cleared away. But now it's just all-out Zergling production here, it looks like, for Sziky.
Yeah, making a ton of lings here, so he's going to easily be able to deflect this. And Miu's going to have to be careful, yeah, coming across the map with these lings. I'm thinking Sziky surely will go straight across the map looking for these Marines, trying to find them before they get back home because they are in a lot of danger. And if he picks all those Marines off, there's like 2 Marines that'll be at home at that time.
I think, unfortunately, Sziky has an idle drone at the top of his main.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's always
That hurts
tough.
too. Zerg needs every drone they can get working.
Yeah, yep.
Yeah, always kind of make jokes about that. Speed finishes, and Mihu is gonna get back inside his wall with all his marines, and he's gonna be perfectly safe now. But yeah, I kind of make that joke every now and then when I see like a Terran or Protoss player that does under saturation. I always call it a Zerg saturation, right? I'm like, you guys Zerg economy right now. It's like 1 worker per patch. We don't have to do that.
It's true. Yeah, Zerg definitely has a lower worker count. Initially, can get pretty high later on. Yeah. Well,
everything looking relatively standard though from here. A little bit of kind of a weird shenanigans from Mihu, but did make Sziky make a lot more lings than you typically want to be making, at least at this stage in the game.
Yeah, agreed. Mission accomplished. I mean, Ziki's only at the 20 worker count, like you said. At least he's getting a 3rd base top right, but he can't afford the 6 muta, right away because of that early pressure.
Yeah, so we're just gonna be trinkling in a couple of meter. What's our eBay? Okay, eBay's done. Okay, now we're starting turrets. I was getting maybe a little bit nervous if we didn't start them the next like 5 to 10 seconds, right? That being said, like you kind of pointed out, the muta count is gonna be a little bit later and less than you would normally want at this point.
Sure. I mean, if I'm Sziky and I took this much damage, it might even be worth like taking the risk of making a couple drones and then delaying the Muta slightly just to hope for the best. 4 Zerglings run by though. Man,
And
Sziky
Ziki's
is
good at
so
this.
good at finding this window. I never do this. Like it just doesn't work out. Does get to the main.
They're going to be able to pick off one SCV and delay these a little bit. Going to catch these 2 Marines as well, which is kind of nice. So already getting pretty good value getting 2 Marines and an SCV for just the 4 Lings here. 2 Lings still alive, maybe can find a little bit additional damage. Going to poke in here to maybe be extra annoying. We've seen this last game from Sziky as well. Man, Zerg players that are good at this, I can't handle this. Kava does this to me every time too. If I ever walk slightly out of my base, he's just immediately in my base with Lings, and it's just so irritating to play against.
Yeah, it really is. It's such a strong way to play though.
Yeah.
Yeah, it does take quite a bit of multitasking, but if you're Sziky, that's no problem.
Yeah, Sziky, a very fast player, an efficient player, it seems. But third base going to be finishing up in that top right corner. I'm glad to see him take that top right corner. I see a lot of Zergs sometimes will take that natural, but it's so abusable by dropships. And I feel like the higher level players typically will not take a natural as their third for that reason.
Yeah, a lot of them don't. I don't prefer it. Oddly enough, though, Sziky does. You'll see him play in matches and generally tend to take a lot of the natural bases. But wow, big pickup for Sziky here on that move out from Mihu. Yeah, he really does like to favor taking the naturals into the main for the 4th base.
Wow, that's a great cleanup for Sziky. And he made a huge round of drones behind that too, so his economy is going to be looking pretty solid. We're even shooting the egg to try and get some bonus splash damage on these units, or on these buildings.
Yeah, that's very nice of him. Still, there's a bunker here, plenty of turrets, and quite a few of the Muta are brute here for Sziky, so he can't really rush into this too much. Looks like he's maybe trying to pick off an SCV or 2 with the natural, but still a good amount of turrets placed there.
Yeah, that was interesting. Mihu scanned and saw no hive started yet, and he went for just 1 starport and add-on for his factory. So I think he's going to be going into tanks after scanning the late hive. And it's kind of interesting to me because typically when I see that, I'm like, oh, my double starport vessel is going to be like really efficient later. So he thinks very differently about it than what I would have.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, we did see it work last game, though. You know, he knows Sziky's not going to end up skipping that lurker tech, so maybe he'll still have a good timing there. Either way, the hive is should be on the way here shortly. There we go.
There's the hive and evo chamber to go down with it. I'm just going to poke in here. I think we're at that 11 stack, right? So going to be pretty much 2-volleying these turrets just about. A couple mutas do go down, though, and trading 2 mutas for 2 turrets doesn't feel the best as the Zerg player.
No, definitely not. But, I mean, at least he's staying active. He's getting some kind of trades done, even if this is, you know, not doing a ton of damage to Mihu. Hopefully he'll forget to build a vessel or, you know, something like that.
Yeah, that's exactly, and that's a really good point. You know, just some sort of pressure, even if it's not necessarily the most efficient. You don't always want your opponent to just be able to sit there and kind of comfortably do whatever they want to do, right? And especially someone like me who's such a strong player, you want to try to make them as uncomfortable as you can. And yeah, Mihu gonna try and move out of here. Sziky doing a great job of catching the tail end of this line of units and gets a really good cleanup on some of these Marines.
Yeah, that was very nice. Mihu was pressuring out towards the north side of the map, though, so you gotta say he might be aware of this 3rd base positioning here for Sziky. But yeah, again, moving out towards the north, and this time with a siege tank. A couple siege tanks, even.
Yeah, he likes these tank pushes.
Move out. Yeah, he really does.
Yeah, and he's moving out with these tanks and these scans and see the Defiler Mountain just now start. So you're actually pretty happy as Mihu then, because it's like, wow, these tanks could potentially get a lot of value. We're going to see a counterattack coming in from Sziky, knowing that push is going to be very strong, going to try and find a lot of damage for himself here. Picks off this turret, going to tuck these in the corner here and can kind of clean up these depots, but I don't see how he stops this push, to be honest with you. Oh man, great targeting from Mihu, by the way, going straight for the back lurker so that the missed shots still do damage to the other lurker.
Sziky's still all over it, though. Does unburrow and moves the lurkers back in time, at least to continue. But man, wow, great splitting here from Mihu. tears down the Nidus, and this is immediately a dead third base.
Wow,
Wow, no
GG.
way.
And
Man,
just like that,
Corey.
kind of the same as the last game. It was like it didn't seem that bad for Sziky, and then all of a sudden it's just over. That Mihu just knowing how to close out a game, man.
Yeah, I mean, the siege tanks were key in both scenarios there. The second game, even, faster.
Yeah.
Without Dark Swarm, without like a sizable amount of lurker Ling at that third base, there was really just nothing. It felt like that, Zeke could do to defend that timing. The mutas needed to be out there. They needed to be picking off those siege tanks. So yeah, very, very quick 2-0 victory there. For Mihu versus Sziky. So well done there.